Richard Schroeder, retired physician and former healthcare executive. I, I strongly oppose the adoption of the Florida Miller and Levine experience biology and am commenting on a grievous error on page 818 of the textbook, which states in referring to the COVID-19 injections that, quote, when the vaccines became available for general use, they have helped slow the pandemic, protected vulnerable groups, and saved hundreds of thousands of lives. First of all, there are no good studies showing that the mRNA vaccine saved any lives, and for very good reason. If you were a pharmaceutical company, healthcare institution, or grant recipient within the CDC and NIH who profited from the vaccines, quality studies would show exactly the opposite. Pfizer's own data that the FDA fought to keep hidden for 55 years showed that by February of 2021, Pfizer had already received more than 1,200 reports of death, 23 cases of spontaneous abortions, 2,000 reports of cardiac disorders, and tens of thousands of reported other adverse events allegedly caused by the vaccine. Also, before autopsies were forbidden in pandemic deaths, German researcher Bhakti and pathologist Arne Berchtold presented irrefutable evidence of the causative role of COVID-19 vaccines in death after vaccination, and showed why the agents cannot protect against viral infection and how they can trigger self-destructive processes that lead to debilitating illness and death. Also, tons of all-cause mortality data from insurance companies began showing that working age people aged 18 to 49 were dying at 60% greater rate than before the vaccines came out, a Six Sigma event. Insurance executives were stunned. Also, there were so many unexplained cardiac deaths in young athletes forced to take the vaccines that Ed Dowd, financial analyst, wrote books about it with complete visual documentation of each athlete and their death as it related to the shots. But the coup de grace of all disclosures came from the Department of Defense medical database from courageous flight surgeon Lieutenant Colonel Teresa Long, showing how the mRNA shots being forced on recruits resulted in all sorts of medical conditions you wouldn't expect in this young population. Things like myocarditis, turbocancers, neurologic disorders, many others, at rates up to 2,800 times more than expected. And more recently, as previously mentioned, our own state Surgeon General, Dr. Ladapo, produced a study from Florida's medical database where excellent data is available for payment purposes, showing a 40% higher all-cause mortality in the Pfizer shots than for the Moderna RNA vaccine, costing an estimated 18,000 Floridians their precious lives, at least. So much for safe and effective. This book is just spouting big pharma propaganda. Kids get enough of that on TV. Thank you.